Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. Before starting this meeting, let's review the Zoom features we are using. The audio for this event is broadcasting by phone and online. This event is lecture only. The microphones are muted to reduce background noise. To adjust the audio to your computer, go to the bottom left of the screen, click the small arrow next to audio settings, and select a speaker. Now, some viewers get better audio when streaming, while others get better quality by phone. So if you have any audio difficulties, you may want to try a different connection method. At the top of the screen, click the View Options button and select Exit Full Screen to display the chat panel on the right side of the slides. Use the chat panel to receive links and resource information from the panelists or to share an idea and respond to session activities. When using chat, please select everyone from the drop-down menu. This allows all of us to see your comments. Use the raise hand feature if you have a technical issue and need assistance, and the support team will contact you individually via chat. Select the closed captioning icon for live captioning in English. If you wish to view captioning in Spanish, select the stream text link that's posted in chat to view them in your browser. We are recording this event, so let's start the recording and turn it over to our presenters.
Good afternoon. This meeting of the AmeriCorps Board of Directors will now come to order. I want to thank everyone and thank you for joining us today. So we're celebrating this year the AmeriCorps 30th anniversary. I can't believe it was all the way back in 1993 that President Clinton signed the National and Community Trust Act, calling on Americans to help serve others live healthier, safer, smarter, and more resilient lives through service. The act created the Corporation for National and Community Service, now known as AmeriCorps. Since that time, more than 1.2 million AmeriCorps members and millions more AmeriCorps senior volunteers have answered the call. And as President Biden shared in his letter to AmeriCorps, there is nothing the United States can't do when we do it together. This is the essential work of our democracy, and since its founding, AmeriCorps has been the critical partner in pursuing this vision of unity for our nation. Thank you, President Biden. And there is a copy of the president's letter in the chat that they shared with us. I think it's really important for all of us to take a minute to thank not only the people who are working at AmeriCorps now, but people who have been working with AmeriCorps for all the years that we've been together. So I think this is an exciting year, and we want to celebrate as much of this as we can. Next week, we're actually going to gather at the Clinton Presidential Library for the 30th anniversary celebration and a day of service in Little Rock. This event will be live streamed, so I would encourage anyone on today to tune in. We're going to hear a bit more about the 30th anniversary later in today's agenda. Earlier today, the Board of Directors held a virtual retreat. During this, well, actually, I'm sorry, I take this back. During our meeting today, we will be having a conversation with the Inspector General. As a Board of Directors, we want to ensure federal resources are properly and effectively spent is a key priority. And we recognize the importance of the role of the Inspector General in helping us strengthen fiscal management and accountability. So we look forward to that conversation. Let me go a little through the agenda now. We will have a report from our CEO. Our OGA committee report will happen. We'll have approval of the FY23 annual grant making plan. There'll be virtual spotlight on the 30th, and then we will do public comments. So I want to take a minute to introduce Michael, who I think all of you know. He's our CEO, and I'd like you to share, Mike, sort of your reflections on your time and since our last meeting and what's happening now with the 30th anniversary.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you and to all of our board members for your leadership, for your service to our country, and the way that you help each and every day AmeriCorps continue to get things done. I want to welcome everyone who's watching to our first Board of Directors call during our 30th anniversary year. 30 years ago, as Kathy mentioned, our country decided to bet on this idea called national service. We believe that if we created opportunities for people to devote their time and talent to service, to learn new skills and meet new people, that they would transform lives, including their own, that they would turn a one-year commitment into a lifetime of giving back. And that bet has paid off in huge ways. For 30 years, every single time America called, AmeriCorps answered. And we continue to show up for communities across the country. For instance, it's what we see in our work with disasters. AmeriCorps is quick to respond and often the last to leave. In Hawaii right now, AmeriCorps members are helping to sort and distribute donations to survivor communities. And we also have boots on the ground in Florida in response to the impact from Hurricane Idalia. Our country is counting on us to be there for the challenges that lay ahead and the challenges that are currently on our doorstep, challenges like climate change. That's why AmeriCorps is proud to serve as the hub for President Biden's groundbreaking American Climate Corps, which the president just announced last month. We are going to be working in partnership with our colleagues at the Departments of Labor, Energy, Interior, Agriculture, and NOAA. And I think there's some more information coming in on the chat about that. Through service, 20,000 Americans, about 3/4 of which will be AmeriCorps members, will develop the skills that they need to lead the green workforce of the future while taking steps to give our planet and our people what they need today. The American Climate Corps will focus on equity and environmental justice, prioritizing communities that are traditionally left behind, including energy communities that powered our nation for generations, and prioritizing projects that help meet the administration's Justice 40 goal. So whether they're going to be rebuilding coastal wetlands to protect communities from storm surges, managing forests to prevent catastrophic wildfires, or helping families save much needed money on energy bills, they are going to be building a brighter, more resilient future for the next generation. I think about AmeriCorps programs like Civic Works in Baltimore that provides Baltimore residents with the home energy upgrades that they need. They maintain urban farms. They turn vacant lots into community green spaces. Our board was actually with them just a few months ago, and we saw that work in action. I think about our Oyster Corps in the Florida Panhandle, where AmeriCorps members are transforming discarded oyster shells from restaurants to rebuild breakwaters to protect shorelines. So for all of you that ate all those oysters, thank you for doing your part to help us do that work. Or I think about Green City Force, which I had a chance to visit several months ago as well in New York, where AmeriCorps members are serving in public housing communities to cultivate and distribute fresh produce and build sustainable green infrastructures. And one of the first new announcements from the partnership for American Climate Corps is the creation of the AmeriCorps NCCC Forest Corps, which is a 5-year, $15 million partnership with the U.S. Forest Service. This is the kind of innovative, collaborative, future-focused programming that will usher in a new era of service for our country, an era of service that is rooted in equity, member experience, and post-service career pathways. An initiative that stands alongside other service innovations like Public Health AmeriCorps that leverages people power to complex and compounding challenges facing our communities. And it's also a service corps that opens doors of opportunity for all. The Biden-Harris administration is changing the face and focus of national service to create generational impact. And to ensure that we are ready for this new era and to continue to build on this powerful movement, AmeriCorps is needing to take a close look at our own system, our own processes, our own programs, and to be honest about what's not working, and to commit to systemic changes that will breathe new life into our mission. That's why we are continuing to raise living allowances and senior stipends to better ensure that community and national service isn't just a privilege for the few, but an opportunity for the many. We're continuing to modernize and overhaul our technology, our application process, and our policies. Just last year, we overhauled our match waiver to make it easier and faster for grantees to get the match relief they need. And so if you are a grantee and you're struggling with match, take advantage of our new streamlined match waiver process. And by the end of 2024, I am going to personally pull the plug on e-grants and introduce a modernized member portal. We cannot let bureaucratic policies and spools of red tape become a do not enter sign for communities who have been too often overlooked. Finally, we will continue to get proximate That means ensuring that our requirements, our benefits and services reflect the unique needs of the communities that we aim to serve. And that means lifting up local leaders, local experts, and local ideas. And we're doing all of this because service isn't just central to AmeriCorps. It is an indispensable building block for a healthy, vibrant, and thriving democracy. And before we transition over to Alvin Warren for our Oversight, Governance, and Audit update, I want to make two asks from you. One, please share your story. We want to hear from members, alumni, and volunteers about how AmeriCorps changed your life and the life of others. And I think we're going to put in a link where you can share your story. You'll also hear from a few alumni today, including one you may have seen on one of my favorite TV shows, Jay Ellis, and one of our incredible board members, Flor Romero. And I want to end with just one more ask. Celebrate with us. You all know how to bring people together. Reunite with folks you served with. Have a 30th anniversary party. Tap into those potluck days and movie nights that you all organize together. And you can also brand your existing events as 30th anniversary events and register them on AmeriCorps.gov. We have the toolkits to help you get started, and you'll find social media posts, press templates, graphics, and more in those toolkits. You can also email celebrate30@cns.gov, celebrate30@cns.gov for support. And you'll be getting more information in the chat about that. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone who has celebrated this 30th, that made the 30th possible. And I am now going to turn it back over to Kathy.
Thank you, Michael. First, I want to say, and I think in front of everyone today, we want to thank Michael for all the work that he's done. His enthusiasm for what we do and what all of you do, and his encouragement to us to get more involved is a fabulous thing. So Michael, thank you. And thank you for all that information. I think it's amazing what we're doing. And I would reiterate what Michael said. I think the idea of us hearing from all of you, tell us your stories. We want to share those stories because the more people hear about what you're doing, the more excited people get about AmeriCorps. So thank you, Michael. And I would encourage you to share your story. Our next order of business is to hear a report from the Oversight, Governance, and Audit Committee. I will turn it over to Alvin now. So Alvin, now it's up to you.
Well, good afternoon and good morning to you all. Thank you for the opportunity to update the board on the Oversight, Governance, and Audit Committee. Our purpose is to monitor AmeriCorps stewardship of federal resources and the management systems by which it's controlled and informs, as well as to advise AmeriCorps staff and the full board to ensure the agency effectively and responsibly carries out the national service laws. Our committee has been engaged for just over a year. In that time, we've seen progress on the agency's reform efforts in a very encouraging way. The committee has also learned how to best leverage our role to support the agency's continued reform work. Looking forward to the new year for this OGA committee, we will be focused on strategic priorities that support the agency in making bigger and more expansive strides in financial and operational improvement. These include working in partnership with our staff to develop a dashboard that clearly and effectively provides insight into our financial transformation and IT modernization efforts. This dashboard will help the OGA committee understand where and when more support, attention, and engagement are necessary. It'll also support the clear and consistent communication of reform progress to our committee, to the full board, and to our other supporters and stakeholders. Our committee is going to continue to meet every quarter, with our next meeting scheduled a little bit later this month. If you have any feedback or input, we would welcome you to email at us at board@americorps.gov. Thank you. I'll give it back to Kathy now.
Thank you, Alvin. Our next matter of business is the agency's FY24 grant making plan. One of the board's primary responsibilities under the statute and bylaws is setting overall policy for the agency, including reviewing and approving the strategic plan and annual updates of the plan. The annual grant making plan is the formal vehicle through which the board of directors authorizes the agencies to make competitive grants and enroll or authorize grantees to enroll members. This grant making plan is for grant making is for grant making using the FY24 annual appropriations. Given the agency does not have a final FY24 appropriations from Congress and is operating under a continuing resolution, the plan assumes level annual appropriations from FY23. The grant making plan will be revisited if AmeriCorps receives a lower appropriation for FY24. The staff has prepared a comprehensive and well-designed plan, and the board approved this plan in writing. Would any board members like to speak on the grant making plan?
I would, Kathy.
Go ahead, Alvin.
So there are many good things in our grant making plan. I thought I would just highlight a few. First, I really appreciate the strong emphasis on employment and workforce development, career and technical education, and post-secondary success in the plan. I'm really excited about our new partnership with the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Programs at the DOJ to fund community-based programs that enhance and expand services to second chance youth and/or engage those youth in as AmeriCorps members. I also appreciate the increased support for travel to the national convening and other training opportunities in our RSVP, foster grandparents and senior companion programs. I'm encouraged about the prioritized investments listed in relationship to the Native Nations operating and planning grants. These definitely reflect priorities I'm aware of in my tribal community and other tribal nations and Indigenous communities across our country. In our VISTA program, I'm happy to see the change in regulations allowing for greater access to organizations in underserved communities. And finally, something mentioned by Michael already, I'm very pleased to see the NCCC partnership to launch the Forest Service Corps that was mentioned here. And really, I'm encouraged that this is going to provide opportunities for people in rural communities like where I'm from. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, if not, let's move and we'll transition to the 30th anniversary spotlight. So we want to take a few minutes to recognize and celebrate. Oh, Shirley, did you want to say something?
No,
Okay.
good.
All right. Next up, we want to take a few minutes to recognize and celebrate the AmeriCorps 30th anniversary. Last month, AmeriCorps kicked off a year-long celebration, and we wanted to share some highlights to make sure you knew how to get involved. First, I'm going to pass it to Shirley to share some of her personal reflections on the formation of AmeriCorps and our rich bipartisan history. Shirley is one, I don't want to date you, Shirley, but one of the architects. She started this when she was very young. The architects of national service. She helped launch AmeriCorps under President Clinton, advancing the role of the agency. She also served as the CEO of Service Year Alliance. Today, she continues to invest in AmeriCorps, serving as an instrumental board member, and she's very helpful to all of us who have not been engaged as long. And I love seeing on our chat all our cheers and smiles and hearts for you, Shirley. So let me turn it over to you, and then we'll hear from Lizette, and we can talk a little more after that. But Shirley, let's start with you.
Thank you, Kathy. Those are such kind words, and I can't believe it was 30 years ago. It feels like just yesterday. I was so lucky to have worked with both the George H.W. Bush and Clinton administrations to help shape national service. And I'm especially proud to have been on the part of the original team that created AmeriCorps, then known as the Corporation for National and Community Service. And I want to recognize others like Rhonda Taylor, David Primo, Marilyn Brooks, Susan Cheeseman, Charlene Chitums, and Kelly Daly, who were also there in the early days and are still working at the agency. And I want to thank all of them and others who have been there for many decades for your service. AmeriCorps, as you noted, was created under the leadership of the Clinton White House of National Service in partnership with bipartisan congressional leaders, building on the strong foundation of the Action Agency, the Commission on National and Community Service, and dozens of innovative models from around the country. While it was sometimes challenging to merge existing entities while starting new programs, including AmeriCorps and CCC under multiple authorizing statutes, I'm proud to see that we've succeeded in many ways. First, we can all testify to the way that service transforms lives, helping young people channel their passions into purpose and careers, enabling older people to support younger generations while building meaning in their own lives. One of the greatest gifts has been witnessing how AmeriCorps members have turned a term of service into a lifetime of giving back. And I'm excited to see how national service will continue to evolve to meet our country's ever-changing needs as much as the Climate Corps, I believe, will do. Well, the motto for the early days of the agency was getting things done. We always hoped that AmeriCorps would strengthen the ties that bind us together as a people. It was a daunting goal, but one that is even more relevant today. It has been great to see generations of bipartisan leaders championing AmeriCorps and its mission, from the White House and Congress to state capitals and city halls. They know AmeriCorps leads with evidence and gets results. So as part of our 30th anniversary kickoff event, we were fortunate to hear from two bipartisan champions, and we wanted to share their videos today. First up is my dear friend, Senator Chris Coons, co-chair of the National Service Caucus. During his time in Congress, Senator Coons helped secure $1 billion in funding for AmeriCorps through the American Rescue Plan, and we'd love to hear his video now.
AmeriCorps brings Americans together, and I'm here today to celebrate the 30th anniversary of AmeriCorps with you. Hi, I'm U.S. Senator Chris Coons from Delaware. AmeriCorps has made a difference all over our country, mentoring and tutoring, responding to disasters, rebuilding housing, and helping our veterans. During the pandemic, AmeriCorps helped more than 12 million Americans, 2.5 million at vaccination sites, helping with sewing masks and 3D printing face shields, supporting public health departments, and conducting contact tracing. It's just one of many different ways that over the last 3 decades, AmeriCorps has helped bring Americans together. I had a chance to help design and run one of the very first National Direct AmeriCorps programs now 3 decades ago. And my experience recruiting and training and supporting 150 AmeriCorps members across 10 cities was one of the most significant public service experiences I've ever had. It helped change my life, and AmeriCorps has helped change so many other lives. Over the last 30 years, more than 1 million Americans have served, and the difference they've made has transformed our nation. So to all who are members, who support AmeriCorps, or who hope to serve in AmeriCorps in the future, happy 30th anniversary.
We are so grateful to Senator Coons for his support over the many years. And I think, we can see that it's not, you don't always have to serve in AmeriCorps. Those who have been working in AmeriCorps programs and at the agency and the commissions, it changes your life too, as you see, what service does. And I think Senator Coons' lifelong commitment to service is a real testament to that. AmeriCorps has support from all levels of government. And our next video is from Billy Nungesser, the 54th Lieutenant Governor of Louisiana. Let's hear from Lieutenant Governor Nungesser.
Hi, I'm Billy Nungesser, Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Louisiana. I want to congratulate AmeriCorps and its leadership for its 30-year anniversary. Following Katrina, I ran for office. I saw firsthand the importance of AmeriCorps in rebuilding New Orleans and the surrounding communities like Plaquemines Parish, where I was from. Had it not been for Katrina, I probably wouldn't be here as Lieutenant Governor. But it was those volunteers, those groups that came in and put their life on hold to help us recover that made it so special. So I can't thank you enough for your years of service here in Louisiana and around the world. God bless you, and congratulations on 30 years of great service.
It's an honor to hear from the Lieutenant Governor and his lasting impression of AmeriCorps. And now it's my pleasure to turn this over to Lizette Nieves, who was part of the original AmeriCorps team and now serves on the AmeriCorps board with me.
Thank you so much, Shirley. It was inspiring to hear the kind of bipartisan support that we have for AmeriCorps. So as a board member, I'm really proud of the work that AmeriCorps has done over the last 30-year history. AmeriCorps is a movement and not a moment. And I think back to close to 4 decades ago when I dedicated a year of service to the City Volunteer Corps in New York on the first publicly funded AIDS ward in New York. And when you think about that, what is, an 18-year-old hear the call to service, and that's very much what we see in our public health corps and other corps. And so I think AmeriCorps is also about uniting generations and reminding people that makes us our best is when we contribute and give to a larger goal. 3 decades ago, more than 20,000 Americans raised their right hand and pledged to get things done for America. These members helped more than 1,000 communities nationwide during their first year of service. Today, 200,000 AmeriCorps members and AmeriCorps senior volunteers serve in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, Guam, America Samoa, and tribal nations. They're working on education, building healthy futures, expanding economic opportunities, supporting the environment, and supporting our veterans and military families. In times of tragedy and triumph, when America calls, AmeriCorps answers. Whether it's AmeriCorps members stepping forward to help after 9/11, aiding the recovery from disasters like Hurricane Katrina over the course of the decades, or pivoting to address the urgent needs created by the COVID-19 pandemic. AmeriCorps knows how to get things done. AmeriCorps has been turning to moments of impact into national service and movement throughout the years, and we couldn't be more proud to stand among you. We'll be celebrating our 30th anniversary all year long. Yeah, you heard that right. We need 365 days to celebrate our 30 years for sure. And as Michael said, we invite you to join us. Follow AmeriCorps on social media. That's at AmeriCorps. Don't forget, that's on the platform. You can celebrate 30 years of national service with our monthly themes, right? Host events, watch highlights from past events. And I would also encourage celebrating and connecting to intergenerational conversations amongst volunteers and AmeriCorps members. All right. Check out our 30th anniversary page to find downloadable resources. Share your story and register your events. Learn more about AmeriCorps resources too. Next up, we have an example of one way to get involved. We have a video from our renowned actor, AmeriCorps alum, Jay Ellis. I will now turn it over to Jay Ellis. Thank you.
Yo, what up, everybody? It's Jay Ellis, and I know what you're thinking. Why is Jay Ellis here? Well, it's because I am a part of the AmeriCorps family. Yeah, that's right. I did some time with AmeriCorps back when I was at college. I got to volunteer, and I wanted to take this moment right now to just say happy birthday. As you guys know, AmeriCorps is celebrating 30 years of service, which is absolutely amazing and has been so vital to our country and our communities. And more than like a million, I think it's like 1.25 million AmeriCorps members and AmeriCorps seniors have pledged and volunteered and been of service to communities of all sizes. And over the course of the year, as many of you know, AmeriCorps members show up and they come together in service of the communities to tackle big issues and challenges, from environmental to education, food security. And these volunteers, every single one of you guys, are essential. You are the lifeline to our nation's economic and social well-being. So thank you for your time and for your service. Again, I got an opportunity to volunteer for AmeriCorps when I was in college at Whitaker Middle School in Portland, Oregon. I worked in an after-school program, and I really believe, to be quite honest, I learned more from those kids than I could have ever taught them. And I'm so grateful for that experience because it's been so life-informing. So just want to take this moment to say happy birthday. 30 years, look at you. 30 never looked so good. Enjoy it. Congrats to every single one of you. Thank you for everyone who's given their time. Later, y'all.
Hi, everyone. I'm Flora, a proud AmeriCorps alumnus, current board member, and someone who is just so proud to be part of the Ameri family, which includes amazing people like Jay Ellis, who I absolutely adore from the amazing show Insecure. Personally, just like Jay Ellis, being a part of the AmeriCorps program, it really did set my career trajectory. And just being a part of the AmeriCorps program of Jumpstart for 4 years, it really gave me a sense of direction during my time in college. It validated my strong sense of serving the community while also helping me decide what I wanted to do after graduation. Because let's be real, a lot of people just don't know, and that's okay. On top of gaining leadership skills and teaching experience, I also made some of the closest friends who I still consider family to this day. And for me, just stumbling upon the Jumpstart office and being introduced to AmeriCorps, it was by far the biggest blessing that happened to me in my college experience. So I wanted to close out our spotlight on the 30th anniversary by calling on fellow alumni and echoing what Michael said earlier. Tell your story. We want to hear it. Tell your colleagues about how serving with AmeriCorps might have changed your career trajectory. Maybe you learned a lot like Jay Ellis from the people that you worked with. Tell your kids, your neighbors how AmeriCorps opened doors of opportunity for you. And please tell us. I want to hear it. We want to hear it. If you have a story to tell, please email us at stories@americorps.gov. We definitely want to hear from you, and it's getting put in the chat for you as well. So before I pass it back to Kathy, we wanted to share one last video reminding all of us of the AmeriCorps Pledge and the lifelong commitment of members and volunteers. And lastly, just thank you. Thank you to everyone who has and who will serve with AmeriCorps to help us get things done in our country.
I will get things done for America to make our people safer, smarter, and healthier.
Always believed that you would elevate the cause of citizen service in America.
I will bring Americans together to strengthen our communities.
Fired up!
Faced with apathy, I will take action.
My husband, Martin Luther King Jr., once said that life's most persistent and nagging question is, what are you doing for others?
Faced with conflict, I will seek common ground.
Faced with adversity, I will persevere.
I will carry this commitment with me this year and beyond.
I am an AmeriCorps member.
I am an AmeriCorps senior volunteer.
And I will get things done.
Thank you, Fleur, Lizette, and Shirley. I do love a good party, so I'm really looking forward to this year full of celebrations and really hearing the stories from all of you. I think it's so important that we share the stories, not only with your colleagues that you've been working with, but with other people. There's lots of people who have benefited from your program. So the more we share, the more we talk about it, the more other people can learn about it. And who better to hear from than other volunteers and other AmeriCorps members about how we should move forward. Now, with the time remaining, we're going to, we're going to move to public comments. So you've got instructions on the screen of how we'll do this. Our folks at LSI will call upon you as we get there. I'd like to remind you to keep your comments to 2 minutes so that we can accommodate all those who wish to speak. The board takes all of your comments from our stakeholders seriously and will follow up with the appropriate core members who have knowledge of the topics you're asking about. I will call your name. Please unmute your video and audio and start by saying your name and organization. LSI, do we have someone?
There's no hands raised at the moment.
No. Well, this is a first. We always have comments. Okay. Oh.
We have one hand raised.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Good afternoon. Good morning. My name is Jacob Jenkins. I serve Illinois in the great state of Illinois, and we are just excited to be celebrating America's 30th. We in Illinois have a very old program that's been around since the 1980s with our Leslie Bates program. And so we're coming to you today on behalf of the Leslie Bates program and all of the wonderful work they have been able to do in the city of East St. Louis with their food bank around education and just community building in general. So we just wanted to be here today to represent the state of Illinois on this call and say we're excited to get things done for America and excited about AmeriCorps' 30th.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. Anyone else? Lizette, did you want to say something?
I just want to say, since we did have a little bit of time, I just want to reiterate the excitement around the 30th anniversary and also to the leadership of Michael Smith in seeing the kinds of changes that Alvin Warren had highlighted. I think the push for greater connections to work and economic development are really important. The greater connections to coming together, this idea of just embracing and being more visible with AmeriCorps is really important. And we have the right leader and we're going in the right direction. And so I just wanted to make sure that I got that also voiced as a AmeriCorps proud board member.
Great, thank you.
Lizette, thank you for those kind words. I would be remiss if I didn't pass that thanks on to our extraordinary Ameri team. The staff, some folks who have been here. I was with Rhonda Taylor yesterday, who's been here since before the agency was created. Sandy Scott, I'm going to get in trouble for naming names, but we have a team of dedicated public servants who have been in this work for the long haul and are so committed to making sure that we do all we can to support our members. So I'm grateful to have the support of this board and just an incredible team of AmeriCorps staff members.
Great. We'll do one last call for any comments. Lots of thank yous to you, Michael. I see a lot of hearts floating by for you, Michael. You're doing great work out there. Well, if we have no other comments, I think we can, I'd like to take this moment just to thank all the board members as well and the staff. I do think the staff does a lot of work. And I think, as Michael said, it's a team and they work together, and it takes a lot to keep this organization moving forward through thick and thin. And I really appreciate all the work they do. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Without objection, the meeting is adjourned then. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us.